Hi, welcome back. So we've been getting a lot of questions about teeth. Everybody likes the business end of the mouth, right? Chompy, chompy, yum, munch, munch, munch. So let's talk about some of the teeth, the fossil teeth that we have in the collections here at Dinosaur Journey. Now we have over 700 fossil teeth as part of our collections. Remember, we have 14,000 fossils, and 700 of those fossils plus or minus are teeth. So we get a lot of teeth. And one of the reasons we get a lot of teeth is dinosaurs are weird. So you and I, we're humans. Humans are mammals. And we have two sets of teeth. We have our baby teeth, and then we get our adult teeth, right? Dinosaurs don't do that. Dinosaurs are like crocodiles. They break a tooth, they replace a tooth. They shed teeth constantly throughout their lives. And as they're doing their dinosaur thing, chompy, 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 they're constantly, breaking off teeth, whether they're eating really tough plants or whether they're eating really tough meat. And because they constantly break off their teeth, we get lots of them in the fossil record. So I'm going to show you first off, this is a part of a jaw. So part of the lower jaw of an animal. So this would be the outside. This would be the side that touches the tongue of an animal called Camarasaurus. Camarasaurus is a plant-eating dinosaur. And you can see if we look right down on the top, these are the tooth sockets. So their teeth fit in sockets just like yours and mine. And in the socket, we've got a nice tooth here ready to come out. And then we've got other teeth behind it. And these are the replacement teeth in the jaw. They're already there. They're already formed. They're just waiting for this one to get broken off so that they can have their time to shine. And it's not just animals like Camarasaurus. We see that type of tooth replacement in lots of dinosaurs. So here is part of the upper jaw of Apatosaurus. This tooth that's broken off here, this is the tooth that's actually erupted, the one that's being used in the jaw. This side faces the tongue. All these teeth are waiting for their time to shine. They're all in a row. You can see they start off small and then they get bigger, 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 and then they get their curvature until it's time for them to erupt into the jaw to do the work of getting plants down the throat and into the stomach. Now, if we find teeth outside of the jaw, so here we have a Camarasaurus tooth with no jaw attached. It's just the tooth. This is the root part. So you can see the root part is very dull. The tooth itself that you would use to eat with is very shiny. That's because the enamel that's on your teeth and my teeth is also on dinosaur teeth. And it is the most dense part of the skeleton. It is highly mineralized. So when it becomes a fossil, it gets this beautiful oily sheen on it. I like Camarasaur teeth. They're sort of shaped like an ice cream scoop. And that's because they're scooping plants into their mouths. So that is exactly what it's for. Now, when we find dinosaur teeth with the root still attached, that's when your spidey sense paleo version goes into high gear, because when they shed teeth during normal feeding, they break off at the base of the crown. If there's a root attached, that means they fell out of the skull after they died. So there might be a skull nearby. So high alert when you find teeth with roots on them. Now, the Apatosaur teeth, they're also herbivores, but their teeth are kind of shaped like pencils. And they're just little pegs. And they use them like a rake to just rake plant leaves into the mouth. So two different ways to just get a lot of food into the mouth without having to do a lot of chewing. Just scoop it in or rake it in. Now, I know what you're thinking. Herbivores are nice. Predators are better. All right. Let's talk about some of the meat eaters that we have lots of teeth from. So I mentioned that our most common dinosaur that's a meat eater in the Grand Valley is Allosaurus. And yeah, we get Allosaurus teeth. So this is a tooth that does not have a root. This was a tooth that was shed while the animal was eating. And like the steak knives in your kitchen drawer, it has serrations on this side And, oh, wait, it's got more serrations on this side. It was actually a blade of double steak knife proportions. This is a tooth meant for slicing through the meat of a poor unfortunate chimerosaur or an apatosaur, which would have been its preferential prey. Now, this is a tooth from an adult Allosaurus. We also get teeth and jaws from juveniles. So this is an adolescent, so a teenage Allosaurus, and you can see its teeth are little and small, but they still have their serrations on them, and they're kind of shaped like the letter D. This jaw is brought to you by the letter D. And you can see, like the chimerosaur teeth, they're sit in little sockets. And inside, this is the side that would face the tongue, there are new teeth waiting for their chance to dig into the side of a chimerosaur. But we don't just get Allosaurus in the Grand Valley. We get other theropods that eat a lot of meat. So let's do a little comparison here. So this is the tooth of an Allosaurus. Allosaurus grows up to be 30 feet long. That's about as long as a small bus. Okay, that's pretty big. A full school bus is about 40 feet. We also get an 18-foot long theropod. But check out its teeth. So it is almost half the size of this animal, but its teeth are much, much bigger. Do you think they were eating the same prey? You're right. Nope, they weren't. They were eating different animals. Allosaurus is much more common than Ceratosaurus, but we do get both of them here in the Grand Valley. And we also get fossils of other non-dinosaur things. So we get lots and lots of fossil teeth that look like this. Okay, I know what you're thinking. That's not a tooth. That's a mushroom. It's not a mushroom. These are actually teeth. These are teeth from a shark from the Western Interior Seaway in the Cretaceous period called Pictodus. And these teeth would have fit on the jaws of that shark a lot like the teeth in modern day rays and skates fit on their jaws, in a dense patch of flat, crushing teeth. These sharks were not eating meat. They were crushing ammonites and baculites and clams during the Cretaceous period. So this was a clam crushing shark. Now we do get sharks that were eating fleshy meat, not necessarily crunchy meat. But their teeth aren't as big as you might think, so they're pretty small. What is the biggest shark tooth you guys can think of? I knew somebody knew it. Yep. Carcharodontides Megalodon. So Megalodon, the shark, is not found in Colorado. This is from the eastern seacoast, but we do have some fossils of it in our collections. And like the Allosaurus teeth, it has serrations on either side, meant for slicing through flesh. It's a big shark. Like, it's too big to even wear as a necklace. Like, that's a little on the grandiose side. It's a giant shark. And like the dinosaur teeth, it has enamel on the tooth, and it's very, very shiny. We also get teeth of mammals. So we get fossil mammals in the Grand Valley. So we get teeth of Ice Age horses. So here you can see this is the top of the tooth here. And it's got all these lovely ridges for grinding up grass. And it's got these big honking roots on it. But we get bigger mammal teeth than this. So we get Ice Age horses. What else was running around in the Ice Age? That's right, mammoths and mastodons. So here is a molar from a mastodon. So these are large elephants. that lived around in the Ice Age. And you can see they have really high cusps on their teeth. These were animals that were eating branches off of bushes and trees and grinding and just chopping them up. You can see it's got nice roots on it. But we also get mammoth teeth as well. So mammoth and mastodons, you know, if you were just to look out on the landscape, they would look very similar. They're both large elephant relatives. But their teeth are very different. So a mastodon has these large cusps, these very tall teeth. A mammoth, like a Columbian mammoth, this is its molar. This is one tooth. And they have a very flat grinding surface, just like the horse. Why? Well, like the horse, this animal was also eating grass. And that's one way that huge, huge herbivores like the mastodon and the mammoth could have lived together in the same environment. They were not eating the same plants. They were eating different plants. They were partitioning the plants in the ecosystem. It's called niche partitioning. Lots of animals do it today, and it's a way to make sure that you have enough food to survive, that you're not directly competing with another species to get the exact same food. It's a handy tool that evolution has kicked up. All right, that's gonna do it for all of our wonderful teeth at Dinosaur Journey. If you have other questions, please throw them into the comment section and we will do some more fun videos. Or I will just go ahead and answer you right in the comment section.